What is going on, everybody? My name is Sinister and welcome to something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be talking about the new policy changes to YouTube. Yeah, we're getting real here. Let me just prefix this video quickly by saying I am ad-libbing like this completely. I've got no notes, nothing scripted, whatever. All I've got is the policy changes in front of me here, so if I miss anything, I'll try and annotate it on the screen. If there's anything you want to ask me, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'll get back to you on that. So recently YouTube changed, well, they say, well, technically they rephrased their policies. So the new policy talks about content that is and is not considered appropriate for advertising. And just reading this out to you quickly, I'll put it on screen as well. This includes, but is not limited to, sexually suggestive content including partial nudity or sexual humour, violence including displays of serious injuries and events related to violent extremism, inappropriate language including harassment, profanity and vulgar language, promotion of drugs and regulated substances including selling and use and abuse of such items, and controversial or sensitive subjects and events including subjects related to war, political conflicts, natural disasters and tragedies, even if graphic imagery is not shown. Now, a lot of people are wondering, why these policies are in place, and I think to get a good idea of what's happening here, we've got to take a trip back to YouTube of, I think it was late 2006, that was when I joined. The YouTube of late 2006 was completely different, and if you'd asked me like this time last year, if I thought this time next year these policies would have been in place, based on the changes I've seen to YouTube over the last 9 or 10 years, however long it's been, I would have said absolutely it would not surprise me if these policies came in place. So when I first joined YouTube, the main demographic was actually a lot older than it is now. I joined YouTube when I was like 12. Obviously this is a new channel, so that doesn't reflect that, but I joined YouTube when I was 12, and believe it or not, I was one of the younger users on the website at that point. Most YouTubers were 16, 17, 18. It was very difficult to find people who were 12 on YouTube. It just really didn't happen much. But as YouTube has progressed, it's become a lot more mainstream. Obviously, Google acquired it and it grew for them very quickly. It's now one of the bigger platforms on the market, and apologies if you just heard a vibration. My phone is on silent, but it did just go off. So the target demographic has shifted a lot in the last few years, especially with the rise of game videos and YouTubers like PewDiePie, who target a younger audience a lot. It's now targeted a lot more towards younger audiences. It's very common to see kids of 9, 10, 11, 12, and heck, there's even a YouTube Kids app here now. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because YouTube, at the end of the day, is a business. It's going to be there to make money. And obviously, to make the most money out of advertising, they want to appeal to the target demographic, which in this case is becoming children. Now, that is unfortunate for a lot of older YouTubers who prefer mature content, myself included, but it goes back to something that I've always said, and it's something I'll always stand by, even if I ever do monetize my videos, which I currently do not. YouTube should never be a primary source of income. I mean, it's a good startup, it's a good place to get a platform if you want to be self-employed or what have you, start your own business, but if you honestly think you're going to be able to stay on YouTube and make a living here your whole life, then, well, I suppose this is a very rude wake-up call. Just an example, there's a couple of YouTubers I'd like to bring up as an example here. First of all, someone that I think most people watching this who are big into YouTube game would have heard of, and that is Captain Sparkles. Captain Sparkles obviously became popular after he started doing Minecraft videos. He became one of the fastest growing channels on YouTube, I believe. Not sure where it's at now, but he actually ended up going into merch production. Those pop head, bobblehead things, I don't know what they are, I don't really have much interest in them, that you see in the shops. Those are actually something that he came up with, and essentially that's what makes him a lot of money. Obviously he still does do YouTube, but it's not really as profitable as I imagine that is. So he used YouTube as a platform to build an audience, build a fan base, which is fair enough. That means when he launched his product, it was popular enough to gain traction. Now that's okay, I mean that's that is essentially advertising a brand before the brand even exists. That's actually a very smart business decision. As much as I don't like his videos, I will give it to him that his business decisions are smart. The other YouTuber I want to bring up is one that surprisingly a lot of people I talk to these days haven't actually heard of. And that is a channel called Fred. Now Fred, at one point in the early days of YouTube, was the biggest person on YouTube. And his content was him with a camcorder recording himself. He played the role of, I believe it was a 5-year-old boy. He was like 16 at the time. But he played the role of a 5-year-old boy called Fred. And it was basically his crazy adventures, which he just shot with a camcorder. He'd then take into post-production and speed up the video and make the pitch of his audio higher. So essentially he had this character with a very high-pitched squealy voice who was essentially a child in a young adult's body. And that gained a lot of traction on YouTube. In fact, you can still find that at youtube.com/Fred. I believe the guy who owns it is a guy called Lucas. Actually sold off the channel to some other company and they make something different now, but if you go back far enough you can still see those videos, just if you're ever curious what YouTube was like back in the day. Now Fred actually ended up signing a contract with Nickelodeon. He first appeared as a cameo in a show, I believe it was iCarly, and he subsequently got his own show on Nickelodeon, and I believe he had 2 movies as well. So he signed a contract with a TV network, and I believe that show is not running anymore, but at this point it doesn't really matter. He made it onto TV, which at the time was still a fairly big platform. I don't know how many YouTubers would make their way onto TV these days, since TV seems to be a slowly dying platform, but he made an audience on there, and he's made his fortune. I mean, he's now on Easy Street, but he didn't really necessarily make that through YouTube. What you've got to remember is that YouTube is a platform that you perform on, and you play by their rules. It's the same as any job. If you're a cashier in a shop, you have to play by that shop's rules, and that shop can change its rules at any given time. For example, let's say during every transaction you have to ask a customer if they found everything okay or something. If you just neglect to do that over and over again, then they'd probably have words with you. You have to play by your employer's rules. Now, one thing to remember is YouTube, obviously, it's a popular platform. They need to appeal to advertisers here. That's the main thing. This is what they're doing. They're trying to appeal to advertisers. So if they're going to twist the rules around a lot, and while this is just technically being reworded, but it makes it easier for them to enforce. Having said that, however, I don't think it's going to be enforced unless it's kind of the worst case scenario. So for example, if you accidentally dropped an if you dropped an F-bomb once or twice in a video, they're not really going to flag you on that. It's more so they're going to flag you if you're basically going the whole video with a swear word between every other word or what. Okay, maybe not quite that extreme, but I think really they're intending to enforce on really extreme cases. I know there have been people reporting their videos have been demonetized. What you've got to remember is this is YouTube's automated system currently, and it's got a backlog. They've got a backlog of videos to go through, so the automation is probably in full force right now. It'll get toned down eventually. But the main thing here, is this the end of YouTube? Heck no. I mean, a lot of people left YouTube after the policy they bought in like a year or 2 ago to go to Twitch. People were saying YouTube gaming is dead. No, it's just a platform. It's like a TV network. There are various standards you have to appeal to in order to get on a TV network. But the difference between YouTube and a TV network is YouTube can't tell you to change your script or anything to make it in keeping with their policies. YouTube just have to enforce as and when. And that's basically the thick and thin of it. I know this is probably a controversial topic and there'll probably be a lot of people disagreeing with me, and I know that, I'm fully aware of that. I've been told by several people not to make this video, but I feel like I need to get my point across here. And like I said, if I ever monetized my videos on YouTube, I would not, and I would absolutely not use it as a primary source of income. If it became big, I'd ride it out for a little bit while, but I would make a contingency plan, just like Captain Sparkles releases merch or Fred signed a contract with a TV network. And that's really, if you wanna play big on YouTube, that's really the direction you've got to go, and you have to be able to innovate. You have to be able to come up with your own ideas. You don't get rich working for somebody else. This is actually something that a friend told me yesterday, amazingly enough, and it rings so true here. So that was it, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks a lot for watching.